Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show with your hosts Ken Tizzard and Music for Goats. Brought to you in full color and stereo sound with amplification provided by Trainer. Broadcasting into the world from Storyhouse Studios in Campbellford, Ontario, you'll hear the best in old country, folk, Americana, punk rock, and 80s music delivered into your homes every week for free. And don't forget your regular dose of new and original songs from Music for Goats. Never be alone on a Wednesday night again, 8 p.m. Eastern and 9:30 for those of you in Newfoundland. Join the Whiskey Wednesday regulars on Facebook to be a part of the conversation, or watch on YouTube as well. Pour a drink, a cup of tea, or a nice cold long tooth. Roll up your best smoke and sit back and relax. Don't forget to hit the share button to help spread the word. The Whiskey Wednesday Show, every week. Cheers. Mike Steenberg tuning in tonight, telling us that his trailer is shut down. He's back in Campbellford for the winter. Oh, that's cool. Are you back over on that house over by Mr. Grant? He lives over by you, doesn't he?
Somewhere over there, yeah.
Somewhere in
Not
that area.
Not exactly where, but...
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, good to see you, Mike. And Joe Murray and Jeannie Tench and Tony Arkell and Richard Gutrulk, Barry. Oh, Barry's right there. I saw Barry before I even said that. Tony Arkell, of course. When you're drunk and you got no place to go. We are all here. The first small people are pouring into the room, so to speak, as the door gets open. Hey, Ron Bisonet, how you doing? Steve Astlefalo. This is fantastic. We got a great night for you tonight. This is going to be a classic Whiskey Wednesday. You know, the evening where, like the original "What Are You Ats?" It's just a night chatting with an old friend of mine. But he's got a great story, inspiring on many levels, and man, it's a cool chat. So Mike Monroe is on the show with us tonight. So we're going to play some songs tonight. I played in a band with Mike when we were in. It was one of my first bands, and we ended off coming out of high school and started to play in the bars downtown, and that was when we met up with the amazing Glenn, the guy who danced on the flaming broken glass. For those of you who haven't heard that story, I won't get into it now, but not the entire thing, but there was a guy who danced on flaming broken bottles. He had like a half-hour show of this that he would do, which would include the audience, you know, throwing all their glassware onto a big tarp, you know, like a big 12-foot tarp. And then, you know, they'd roll the tarp over and they'd all smash it with hammers, and then he'd dance around in it, and then he'd light it on fire and jump in it and wash his face with it. While we stood in the background playing Proud Mary most nights for 20-25 minutes while he did this entire thing. It was an inspiring eye-opener for I guess I would have been 16, 15, 17, something like that. Early in my life, you know. It was one of my first sort of music gigs. But in this band, with me and Mike and Clark Hancock and Danny Hamilton, which is the weirdest story because the name is based on 5 other people who never were in the band together. So I think the name was put together based on people that we thought were going to be in a band, but either way. Anyways, we played a bunch of music from the 80s, and we played a bunch of different stuff. So I picked stuff tonight that reminded me of different parts of that Maine summer that we were hanging out playing music and touring around Newfoundland with the amazing Glen Mary Show.
And the name of the band?
It was Chebcat Backpaw.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
It certainly does.
I actually typed it into Google, and it brought up a review from the university newspaper back home in St. John's that I never knew existed. Very interesting, but anyways, tonight we're going to play a bunch of songs from in and around then. I was really digging on a lot of punk rock, turning Mike on to punk rock as he was turning me on to jazz and new age music. This is one called Pet Cemetery by the Ramones, going out to Michael Monroe tonight. Decided we're all just going to come in on this, right?
Yeah.
Cool, I love that. 1, 2, 3. Under the arc of weather-stained boards, ancient goblins and warlords come out of the ground, not making a sound. is all around. And at night when the cold wind blows, no one cares, nobody knows. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Follow Victor to the sacred place. This ain't a dream I can't escape. Molars and fangs, the clicking of bones. Spirits moan among the tombstones. And at night when the moon is bright, someone cries, something ain't right. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. The moon is full, the air is still. All of a sudden, I feel a chill. Victor is grinning, flesh rotting away. Skeletons dance, I kiss this day. And at night, when the wolves cry out, listen close, and you can't hear me shout. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't want to live my life again. No, I don't want to live my life again. Ah, there you go. A little bit of a raucous evening, so while we dedicate the night to my friend Mike Monroe, who I don't think any of you guys have met. No. Although Barry's from Halifax, they may have crossed paths out there because Mike spent a lot of his life out there. You didn't do much in the way of yoga and meditation when you were out there, did you, Barry?
No, I didn't.
No, okay. I didn't think that was your thing. I didn't think that was your
You
thing.
didn't start that till you moved here.
Oh my. So yeah, there was lots of stuff going on that summer. Another thing that another band that I kind of remember that people were just getting into around that time, and in the mid '80s in town in St. John's, the heavy metal scene was kind of blowing up, and the punk scene was blowing up, and there was sort of the long hairs and the skinheads and the mohawks, and right in the middle was this band that nobody knew who to classify, and I think Sean Dorn, who was a friend of ours from downtown, he did it best when he kind of Motorhead, like this just sort of dirty, loud rock band, that sort of fit into all the categories, and it was a real interesting time. And I remember Sean Dorn used to sort of, I don't know if he modeled himself after Filthy Animal, the drummer. He had the sort of the long, just kind of messy, spiky, matted hair, and just sort of disheveled clothes, and just kind of generally had an odor about him.
Mom
But
and
he
Dad were
looked-
thrilled when the girls brought him.
But he looked so fucking cool. He was the coolest looking guy. I see him walking down the street. He'd be kind of kicking at the sidewalk with his feet, you know, that's sort of like as if there was a stone there, but there's not really a stone there. He was just kind of angry and, you know, going to kick the street. And, you know, I love Sean Dorn. He was such a character back then. I haven't seen him in a long time, Sean. If you're, I'm sure you're still in the movie business, or actually, in fact, I have no fucking idea. I hear from Bueller every now and again that you're doing well, and somebody will give me a little update, but I haven't seen you in 30 years. I hope you are good out there. Hello, Aaron, Allison Elward. Oh, Robin Ann, we got a bunch. Oh, hey, Robin, nice to see. And that's Mike's other half currently, Joe. And I say currently because when I met Mike last time, he was still with his now ex-wife. And I haven't met Robin, but I hear she's great. I remember that band and all those days well. Oh, yes, Becky. Oh, Becky's here. Hey, how you doing? Sorry, looking at the message board. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday show. It is Wednesday again, November 14th. It's actually not. It's the 13th, I believe. I think I made an error when I printed this, but somebody can correct me on that. It's all good either way. Anyways, we're going to play this one tonight for, again, you know, because Mike Monroe is inspiring the set list, but I'm going to dedicate this one to Sean Dorn. And he actually has I remember when Fred's Records used to get in albums, you know, every week there'd be record store arrival day and we'd go down, and we went down one day and I happened to grab the Motorhead self-titled album where the record came inside of a sewn leather sleeve that was embossed. And I got it, and I fell in love with it, and somehow I gave it to Sean Dorn.
I was going to say, that's why your friend was kicking his feet going
Yeah.
freaking Tizzard.
He was pissed off, but I kept the record, and I gave him the sleeve, which he then cut into a back patch and put it on the back of his jean jacket, and he had the coolest jean jacket then. And I was like, fuck, Sean. Come on, my shit. God damn.
Gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, you lose some, it's all the same to me. The pleasure is to play, makes no difference what you say. I don't share your greed, the only card I need is the ace of spades, the ace of spades. Dancing with the devil, going with the flow, it's all the same to me. 7 or 11, snake eyes watching you. Double up or quit, double stakes or quit. The ace of spades, the ace of spades. You know I'm born to lose, and gambling's for fools, but that's the way I like it, baby. I don't wanna live forever. Don't forget the Joker. Pushing up the ante, you know you gotta see me. Read 'em and weep, the dead man's hand again. I see it in your eyes, take one look and die. The only thing you see, you know it's gonna be the ace of spades, the ace of spades.
There you go, a little Motorhead for y'all on a Monday night. We're going to get into Mike Monroe's very first part of the interview tonight. It's a two-parter, and it's just, I can't even really set it up. I mean, he knows all about backs and yoga and meditation and spirituality, and he's been a musician since I've ever known him, and he's a real cool guy. So let's get to know Mike Monroe a little bit, part one right here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Whiskey Wednesday show. We've got a really special guest on the show tonight. Mike Monroe is one of my oldest school friends. Although I don't think we went to primary school together. I think it was high school when we were merged. You didn't go to McDonald Drive, did you?
Actually, no, we were in McDonald Drive. I remember in like grade 5 or something. We were in the same class at one point.
There was one point, yeah, but it wasn't until
Yeah.
I'm going to say high school when music kind of brought us together, right?
In early university, like first couple of years of MUN,
Yeah.
we were in a German class together and started talking about bands and stuff, and ended up getting together to play music.
That was how that happened. It was German. It was our German 101 with
Yeah.
I can't remember the teacher's name, Miss Schwartz. Miss
Yeah, I
Schwartz.
dropped out of that class. I couldn't deal with the German language.
Yeah, I continued with the class but failed.
Okay. I got out early, but anyways, we carried on and did some music. But we used to bump into each other at parties and stuff too. And
Yeah, of course. I mean, going to school together, we knew each other, but it wasn't until we started playing together that we became close. And that was
exactly, yeah.
Chebcat Backpaw, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that was me and you and Clark and Danny Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which was not the original lineup of Chebcat Backpaw. I think it was sort of a second incarnation or something. But we did all kinds of weird stuff. We did like In Crimson and Talking Heads and
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
some Cure and some Smith.
Hendrix is in there somewhere.
Oh, we did some Hendrix. That's right. Yeah, and yeah, I remember you always complaining about Morrissey's depressing lyrics in the Smiths. That was always a joke between the two of us.
Yeah, we had some originals too, right? Which
We did. We had sort of 6 or 7 songs that were
Yeah.
originals.
Yeah.
I can't
One of
remember. Didn't he record
Yeah.
that stuff? Did we?
I don't think we recorded it. I think one of them was mine. It was called Egyptian Sunrise. It was some like E minor blues thing. I used to.
That's right.
Clark had something called It. We used to do this sort of funky rock thing. I was sorry, we were kind of like a rock punk fusion sort of.
It was a weird thing, and I remember going out around the bay and playing. Like, there's one thing to be, I talk about the Newfoundland scene a lot, and the Newfoundland scene is really much the St. John's scene. Take some of these weird bands and bring them out around the bay. Bay culture is very different than towny culture.
Yeah.
I don't know how they put up with us. I mean, I guess we had the glass dancer with us. So the Amazing Glenn, that made it.
That sort of was what I was remembering was we got together with the Amazing Glenn, and I think we did a show with him in in St. John's.
Yeah.
And then like he came to us and he kind of broke it to us one day. It's like we had to play country music if we were going to go around the bay and play for him.
That's right.
I think maybe we had done a tour with our music, and he was like, okay, if we're going to do this again, you're going to have to play more country music or something like that. And I can't remember exactly how it all played out.
I don't think we did anything much. I think we did that one tour with them out around the bay, and it was only a couple shows, and it was supposed to be the entire summer, because like he came to us and was like, I've got this big plan, and it's going to be the summer. I think this was our summer between high school and university, and we both kind of said, okay, well, let's not get summer jobs, let's focus on this. And then we did a couple shows, and then it got weird with him because he was very strange.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to keep the momentum up, like with what he was doing. He was kind of getting older in his career for that kind of stuff, and he couldn't really do it so well anymore either. But what I remember is that we had our thing going, and we were kind of really excited about the music we were playing, and we had the Bounders show, and we were having some fun with it, right? And then he came along and told us, okay, if we're going to play, you need to learn country music. And I was like, I don't know, we don't really do country. Like I have a lot of respect for country, but we weren't a country band, and I was like, I don't know, man. But what I do remember is that you kind of like, you're kind of willing to go that way, and you kind of handed us a playlist as a band and said, look, let's do Folsom Prison Blues and some Everly Brothers and a few other tunes, and we tried to learn it, and I had to go through my dad's record collection and pick out some of these tunes and learn them. I was like, I don't know, like I was never really quite comfortable with it. But I remember it was at the Causeway. I think he did his show, and then we were ready to do our stuff. And then we played, I think, a Johnny Cash tune, and the place went up. Like everyone jumped up out of the chairs and started dancing, and we were having a ball. And I was like, okay, I guess we can pull this off.
It was definitely what they wanted out around the bay, for sure.
Yeah. So we got a really good response, and then we were able to play some of our music. And I remember just like being a really fun night before things even got weirder after that.
The Causeway. So that was the Twillingate show where
and then
A bunch of acid
later on,
going
the
around.
Clark managed to track down some acid later on in the evening, and then we had another party after that.
Yeah. And I think me and you and Clark, well, you and Clark, I think, dropped acid. Clark came in and slipped acid into my mouth while I was trying to sleep.
Right.
And that kind of, got me into it. But the funny, not the funny thing, but the main story about that night has to do with Danny, the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Danny came from like a fairly Christian, clean, upbringing. He'd never done any drugs, and somebody slipped him some acid because he
Right.
wasn't even drinking. He was drinking Coca-Cola at the bar, and some of the locals thought it'd be funny to slip him some acid.
Yeah.
And, I remember me and you and Clark were kind of just starting our trip, and it was sort of all good and fun. And then Danny came into the hotel room and was just losing his mind.
Yeah. He had a rough night.
Yeah.
I do remember kind of near the end, he was outside. It was like a gas station hotel bar, kind of everything all in one. He was out by the gas pump and he was like upset, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, a dump truck driver, came over and started talking to him. So I couldn't get him to, cheer up or anything or talk him down out of being stressed out in that situation. But the dump truck driver started talking about how all he did was drive up and down this highway in his dump truck, and that was his life. And at that point, Danny kind of was like feeling better, kind of came out of it, and it was sort of this dump truck driver telling the story about his daily life that seemed to bring him around. That's the way I remember it, and I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." I was kind of remember that. It's like this guy just showed up off his dump truck, and
It was a pretty weird night, and Danny was. I remember he like when he first started tripping, he ran out into the highway and fell and bashed his face up, and then he came back in and he was all upset because he was bleeding, and
yeah.
And then we sort of locked him in the hotel room, and the three of us were sitting outside. And then of course Clark decided to be, Clark's usual shithead self, and because I was like, should we call an ambulance? And Clark said, well, like why? Like he's either alive or dead, and if he's dead, the ambulance isn't going to do anything. And Clark turned it into this real sort of dark, sort of dystopian conversation about the possibility of him being alive or dead in there. Come here, you. Sorry, Jack is being annoying.
Yeah, memory's a funny thing. That's how I remember some of it, but it's been such a long time. I'm not sure what year that was. Was that 1988 or something? Somewhere around there.
It would have been 88. Yeah, I think it would have been 88, and then
88 or 89.
And then you went to Toronto. You went up before me, and you're actually
That's right.
The reason that I came to Toronto.
Right. I remember I loaned you some money to get a plane ticket to Toronto.
Exactly, because I was back home, and I'd played with everybody in town, and the music scene was not giving me what I wanted, and I'd heard that Toronto was the place. And I remember talking to you on the phone, and you said, man, there's so much work up here. Like you can get a job in the morning. If you don't like it, you can quit and get another job in the afternoon.
Yeah, no, there's no shortage of work. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you said, I've been working now, so why don't I loan you some money for a ticket and get you up here? And it's just kind of, I had no plans of going to Toronto, but all of a sudden the light bulb went off and I went, fuck yeah, why not?
And didn't Clark come with you? Clark was on the same plane, right?
Well, me and you talked about it, and we booked a flight, and then I called Clark. Clark was working at Kmart. Up on was it Topsail Road, I guess, or Portugal Cove Road, and Clark was working when I was like that morning, and he called me. He said, "What time is your flight?" And he went and cashed his last check and met me at the airport, and we flew up together.
Yeah,
I had my base, a change of clothes, and about $60 to my name, and I think Clark had about the same. And there we arrived in Toronto to make our fame and fortune.
Yeah, I remember when I saw him after he got off the plane, he was going, CHORNTO, Toronto. That's where he wants to go, Toronto.
Yeah, that was the song we used to sing, CHRONTO, that's where we wants to go, Toronto. Yeah, that was every Newfoundlander song at the time, I think. Yes, we moved to Toronto, and then I remember... sort of you were around for a while. We had a couple nights where we went out and bought some weed on Yonge Street, and it was laced with something. I remember sitting in a park up by Rodney Davis's house. Is that where you were staying with Rodney, or you and Rodney had a place?
Yeah, Rod and I lived together for a summer. I think I was up a couple of different times, but we definitely lived together at his mom's place. I rented a room.
Right. And then you went to the States, right?
Oh, you know what? Rodney and Ken and I rented an apartment that summer in Scarborough, so we weren't with his mom that time. That's a different.
That's right. It was out because I remember taking the train out or the bus or the subway out to somewhere
Yeah.
pretty far outside of downtown.
Yeah,
Anyway,
my brother Ken was there that summer too. Yeah,
that's right. Yes, I remember that.
yeah.
And then we kind of lost touch as I settled into work, and I think you went to the States, didn't you, to do some schooling?
No, I went back to St. John's for a
You went
year,
back
and
to
then I got into physio school and went to Halifax at Dalhousie and did physiotherapy.
Right. And but now then there was a period of time where I didn't see you for a while. We'd write letters. This was back in the time when people wrote
Yeah.
back letters to each other.
Yeah.
And we kept in touch via letter. And
Yeah.
then I seem to remember the next time we kind of connected, I was on the tour with the Watchmen. I think we were playing with the Hips down in the States.
Right. That's right. When I did my yoga teacher training in 1998,
It was.
somehow I found out you were playing with the Hip in Albany, and I was in Rhinebeck. So me and a couple other people in the teacher training had the weekend off, and I think someone owned a car. We just drove up and took in the show.
That's
And
right.
I got to hang out with you guys backstage. It was a great show. I think someone had like gotten injured at the end, so they ended the show suddenly because someone fell into the orchestra pit or something. But yeah,
That was not uncommon. Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's probably the next time I saw you in person was that many years later. That would have been like 10
That's
years
right.
later. And you also played in Halifax one time with the Watchmen. We got to see you then.
Yeah, and I mean, since then we've been connected for years. I don't feel disconnected from you at all. I think the last time I was in Halifax, I actually played a house concert at your
Yeah,
place.
you did that house concert here again.
That was a lot of fun.
Back in 2017, 2016, I think you probably did that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so, I mean, we grew up playing music, and as everybody knows, I mean, music can't be a career for everybody, and music doesn't have to be a career for everybody. I make a big point out of letting especially young kids know that music doesn't have to be a career for you to enjoy it and have it in your life.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you make it your career, you're actually setting out on a struggleless path that can actually alter your relationship with music. And it's not really cut out for everybody. You've managed to keep music in your life throughout everything. Like no matter what you've been doing, you've always had music as a forefront on the side, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I've kept it a really important part of my life. It's a kind of outlet for me. I like to play. I like to write music. I go through phases where I'll write some songs. I actually recorded one album. It's kind of like a demo album with a local producer here who's like Charles Austin. He was the initial producer for a lot of people like Matt Mays and whatnot. Echo Chamber Recording Studio. So I hired him to do a little album. Again, that was back in 2017 that I did that. It was just like I had about 10 songs I'd written. I wanted to do a CD, and it's pretty rough, but it was a lot of fun. And I got lots of like Sherry Ryan from St. John's. She sings on it, and a friend of mine, trombone player Simon Oakey, he's a jazz trombone player, classically trained. He plays on it, and it was just a good fun project.
Is he the guy that was playing trombone with you in your living room there recently?
Probably, yeah, he would have been, yeah. If it was,
Yeah, you posted a clip online there a while back.
Oh yeah, we were at his cottage and we were playing in his cottage. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
He's actually my supervisor at work, so every once in a while he'll slap a jazz standard down on my desk and say, "Okay, we're going to play this after work."
See, that's cool. That's cool.
So yeah,
still totally ingrained in your life, and you don't have to worry on it to turn into dollar bills.
No.
Getting to know some feedback. I love my feedback wand. It's amazing. Everybody should get one. Whenever there's feedback, you just give it a wave and it goes away. Getting to know Michael Monroe. We've just done our history. I don't even know what these interviews are. Sometimes I watch them and I'm just like, this is me and my buddy Mike chatting about growing up together. Okay, cool. And then I think, oh, people are watching. Cool. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It's a great place to be on a Wednesday night. I appreciate Mike taking the time to sit down with me the other day. I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, or maybe a little bit before that even. The days mean littler and littler to me as the years go by. It's kind of strange like that. I don't know why. Go
at your own chosen speed. I'm not the one you want, babe. I'm not the one you need. You say you're looking for someone, never weak but always strong, to protect you and defend you, whether you are right or wrong. Someone to open each and every door, but it ain't me, babe. No, 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 it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for. Go lightly from the ledge, babe. Go lightly on the ground. I'm not the one you want, babe. I'll only bring you down. You say you're looking for someone who'll promise never to part, someone to close his eyes for you, someone to close his heart, someone who'll die for you more. But it ain't me, babe. No, 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 it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for. Go melt back in the night, babe. Everything inside is made of stone. There's nothing in here moving, and anyway, I'm not alone. You say you're looking for someone to pick you up each time you fall, to gather flowers constantly, and to come each time you call. A lover for your life and nothing more, but it ain't me, babe. No, 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 it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for. Me you're looking for. It ain't me you're looking for. A little bit of Bob Dylan. He was a popular thing in the cassette player. I think. Oh my God, I might be getting the bands mixed up, but it was a similar summer. We had Jeff Seymour borrowed his dad's station wagon to take the band out to our show. It was like 5 hours out to Twillingate down the highway. And this was one of those old sort of squared off station wagons with the wood paneling on the side type of thing. And, this was back in the roll the windows down days and cigarette ashtrays and lighters. And I remember driving out to Twillingate and the trunk was, the back was full, the trunk was full, the roof was full. And I was like sitting in the front seat and there was like a guitar through my legs and an amp on my stomach as we were driving out. We were all like fucking packed into this fucking car. Jeff Seymour was driving and it would sway like a boat on the highway, and he just sort of constantly counterbalancing with the steering wheel. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? Things were dangerous then. Speaking of things that are dangerous, here's some skateboarding. sense in asking, is this the end of the world? We'll know it's over when it's done. There's so many ways I pictured in my head, but I never saw this one.
A little bit of skateboarding there, a little bit of my feedback wand. Fuck, I gotta get to remember to use that thing sooner. And again, it's the Whiskey Wednesday show, so we go all over the place. So before we get back into the fascinating life story of Mike Monroe when he gets into being a back person and his meditation and all this other crazy stuff and how it relates to his music and his journey, we're going to get back to that in just 1 second. We got a couple more tunes coming up. But we're going to check in with my daughter, Cassie. She's almost home. Cassie's home tomorrow. Is it?
Right?
I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to drive down to Toronto to pick her up. Yeah, and so she's right now in Honolulu, I believe, on a layover, and then she goes to LA for a layover. No, she's left. She's between LA and Honolulu now, and she's got a 10-hour layover in LA, I think it is. So she's having a great time, but she did after Amy went to Australia. Her traveling partner went to Australia, and Caitlin stayed in.
Wrong in both cases.
Amy went to Australia, well, New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Yeah, true. You're right. Absolutely.
And Caitlin
Amy went to New
is
Zealand, and
still in
Caitlin
Peterborough.
stayed in. Yes, Caitlin is in Peterborough. This is Cassidy. You're right. You're right. Thank you, Neil. Oh my goodness. Anyways, there is a little snippet of Cassidy here. She went down to Melbourne to see a friend of hers, her roommate from her first year university, but now she's on her way home. But we got a couple. We got a video. Not much to set up. Just let's just take a look and see what's happening here. Oh.
I think you like. So itchy. Oh my god, did he just yawn? Oh my god, you better be filming this. No way. No. Oh my god, cute. A little bit more and then. Oh my god, the bird! Oh my god. Look at me.
No, they're not. So this is Mo's area. He's another male, and he's in here with his two females. So this is our breeding enclosure.
It's getting two ladies. Interesting, I didn't know that just because they were bred in captivity.
There's something in our states. We have family play, which is their mother and bundle great.
又唔揼埋一齊。企埋一齊啊嘛。
Oh my god. What the hell? Oh my god, so I have to go up. You got it, guys. It's like a miracle. Oh, so fucking cute. Look at them, they have a little path up there. Oh, they do. You're so fucking smart. When it was the Boston Marathon. Oh my god.
Got it just in time. Penguins in Australia. It's pretty wild. Yeah, so yeah, she got to see the kangaroos, the penguins. She's just out doing all that. She's not wasting time. I think if I remember correctly, and I probably don't. She had an 8-hour stopover in Honolulu between flights from Melbourne out to inevitably Toronto. But she had an 8-hour layover, so she left the airport and went to the beach and had lunch on the beach, and then went back to the airport again. Just like, fuck. I'd never leave the airport if I had an 8-hour layover. I'd be like,
Oh, you consider that the perfect time to get there for a flight.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true.
Speaking from experience.
Anyways, that's Cassidy
The
and
flight's at 4
Alexa.
in the afternoon, so we should be there by 8 in the morning. Yeah.
Well, I have a bit of a thing going on with all that. I have OCD. I like to be early for things. I am sometimes a little bit too early, but. So, in honor of the amazing Glenn who got us playing country music, I believe we may have played this song. I'm not sure. It's not the Folsom Prison or anything like that, but it must be. It must have been in that sort of batch we had because it's one of those songs that fits in with the rest of them. But it goes like this. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I woke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy. If you will always say the same. If you leave me to love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you really love me, that no one else could come between. Now you've left me to love another. You have shattered all my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. In all my dreams, dear, you seem to leave me. When I awake, my poor heart pains. So when you come back to make me happy, I'll forgive you, I'll take all the blame. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Yeehaw, never really too.
There you go, and that was the way we used to do the country music back then. 3 chords and see which songs you can remember. We can put some Everly Brothers in here, we can put some Elvis in here, we can put some Johnny Cash in here, we can put some Hank Williams in here. And suddenly we were a country band playing out around the bay. Playing out around the bay. 8:44, we're going to go on to Mike Monroe Part 2 right now. And learn about the other parts of Mike Monroe, parts that I learned a lot about, actually. You know, there's people who are in your life, but I mean, for 20 years, you're not in the same proximity. You kind of know what's happening, you know, and then all of a sudden their people around them are different. They're living in different places, you know, all that stuff. So it was nice for me to catch up. And this is some of the stuff I didn't know about Mike. So let's get back into part 2 here of Mike Monroe.
And what you have done for dollar bills is what brought you into the study of the back, or the study of the physiology of the body, and sort of how it works? And not only that, you've also gone from body to mind. You do a lot of mindfulness, a lot of yoga, a lot of
yeah.
everything. How did that all happen for you?
It's quite a winding journey. Like, I think when I finally came back from Toronto to St. John's, Rodney Davis had been working in home care, and he's just going around helping people get out of bed who are frail, elderly, that kind of thing. And it paid fairly well. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. So I took a break from the painting gigs and the construction and did some home care, trained in with Jack and Jill Home Care Services in St. John's. And a friend of mine, Andrea Han, at the time, she was applying to physio school, and I didn't know what physiotherapy was, but because I was running my own business as a little painting company, and I had worked in healthcare, I got the interview for the physio school gig, and I got in. Luckily, I had the right courses and grades and whatnot to be able to get in. And so I said, well, I'll just try this out, because I found the healthcare side of things really interesting. I really enjoyed working with people.
Mm-hmm.
Now I work in a nursing home for seniors and disabled folks here in Halifax.
And what's so Tay's Yoga, is that still going, or is that something that you had for a while? Has it turned into something different?
Yeah, so my ex-wife Maxine and I, in about 1997, started a yoga business. She got into yoga, I was into meditation, which I kind of got into yoga and meditation in university, studying some Buddhist teachings. And then right when I got out of physio school, I took a yoga class, and I just found this whole Eastern philosophy and approach to the body quite interesting. So, I got into really studying some Buddhist stuff and taking a lot of yoga courses. And eventually we started our own business, which is a yoga studio and health center and clinic in Halifax, 97. But that kind of took off. It was sort of a time when yoga became really popular in the mainstream, and we were, healthcare professionals who had been doing it for a few years. So people started relying on us to help them become yoga teachers. So we did our first yoga teacher training in 2002. And since then, that took off. That was my career for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic hit, and, my wife and I split up many years ago, but we were still running the business. When the pandemic hit, it was kind of like, oh, she just wanted to be done with it. And I decided to keep the business, so I took it over, but ended up having to wrap it up as a main thing downtown. And I got a full-time job in a nursing home, but I keep the yoga business now more as a digital program. And I do some live teaching at other yoga studios. Like I go to Moncton and teach some programs at Kuma Yoga there. There's some studios, like there's a studio in the South Shore, Nova Scotia. They hired me to do some anatomy training with their students. So it's just sort of like a side gig now. And you can still do the teacher training online. I've moved the whole course for becoming a yoga instructor into an online platform. So it's still operating that, but it's out of my basement now and not a business downtown. We got kind of booted out by the landlord who took over the building. He doubled the rent, so we couldn't really keep it going anymore. So
I think the idea of a storefront office space, the bricks and mortar thing. It used to be you needed it if you had a business.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore.
Yeah. So, it's still a good creative project. I'm actually going to take a coaching course through Harvard Medical School to help people coaching to make lifestyle changes and that kind of thing. So I've got that kind of side hustle with the yoga and physiotherapy. I can still see people in my clinic at home. I have a home clinic, and I have a recording studio where I can record classes and lectures for yoga teaching. So
your yoga work, you're actually teaching other yoga teachers, right?
Yep.
So you're educating the educators. Are you still practicing yoga and physiotherapy as a therapist?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I have a few clients that come and I do yoga with them as part of a physiotherapy program. So I assess them, and if they need yoga, if they need stretching, I can include that. Or maybe they just need, a very specific exercise or something.
Right.
So it's just one of the many things that you can do with people. Yeah.
So
lately, I personally, I still practice yoga and meditation, but I've gotten into weightlifting to help manage my blood sugar, and like I've got some health issues, so I was starting to get pre-diabetic and I was gaining a lot of weight. So one thing that's really helped me is lifting weights. So now I spend time in the gym. I have a gym at work where lifting weights. That's kind of my latest thing. That
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're full on body. I mean, I remember when we were younger, you always had that. Like I remember talking to you. You know, this was back when, you know, when we were sort of teenagers, and I was just kind of a stoner skateboarder, punk rocker. And you always had these connections with Eastern philosophies and books and some of the music you were listening to. And I always found that fascinating, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And it's amazing that you've wrapped your life around so much of that Eastern culture.
Yeah. Well, my sister was dating this guy from Mexico who was really into Carlos Castaneda's writings. So I started reading that stuff. And, you
Yeah.
know, that particular author is very controversial, but it kind of got me interested in Eastern philosophy because those books were about shamanism, but they also pointed at Buddhism as another way of looking at things, like sort of recommended from that author. So when I found the Shambhala Center in Halifax when I was in university, I started going there and just taking some classes. But I was also interested in martial arts. I got my green belt in karate while I was in university studying karate, and I was reading about Aikido and took some Aikido classes at the Y in St. John's. So yeah, I was into all that kind of stuff. Found it really interesting, really mind opening, but also displaying the body as well. So that's all, always kind of been a thread. I'm still into it in different ways, but I never ever felt like I want to get stuck in one particular thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is, that served me for a while. And I used to do a lot of stretching, but now my body needs more strengthening. So I'm doing that. And I'm just kind of like, what do I actually need at this stage of my life, So
It's good that you have the resources that you can evaluate that too. And you're on your own journey as well as helping others and educating other people that will be helpers as well. That's really fascinating. And it's a real positive thing to bring into the world too. Kudos to you on that one. You're creating and expanding and the positive stuff that you're doing, you're pushing it out forward, which is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. I appreciate that.
And has all of your Eastern stuff, like Carlos Castaneda, what was that book? What was the one book that you were reading? There was a Carlos Castaneda book that kind of circulated through all of our friends when we were teenagers. I can't remember the title.
Might have been The Fire from Within or Journey to Ixtlan or something.
Journey to Ixtlan, that's what it was.
A Separate Reality. There's a few.
And Jonathan Livingston Seagull was written by.
Now my mother was really into that book, so I got that from her.
Yeah, and who was that?
Mom
Again?
was
What was that author's name?
Is it someone Bach? Richard Bach?
Yes, yeah, Richard Bach, J.S. Bach. No,
Richard Bach. I think it's
Richard Bach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I remember that because the Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and there was another book that sort of went alongside of it, a companion book that I quite enjoyed as well. But I remember, at that time being a teenager and being blown away by some of this stuff, especially when we were sort of experimenting with acid and, enlightened.
Yeah, that's actually still a popular thing right now. People do use like those sort of, what do you call them? Pharmaceuticals. Not pharmaceuticals, but hallucinogenics. There's another word for them. I'm just drawing a blank now what they're called. Psychedelics, like people are into doing ayahuasca and mushrooms and things like that as part of sacred ritual or healing. I think people are dealing with trauma and trying to heal from trauma, and they'll use, meditation, yoga, and in some instances, there's folks who benefit from the psychedelics, But I know personally, I don't get into that stuff myself these days. I find it too exhausting.
That's the reality. It's exhausting. The idea of doing acid and being stoned for 12 hours. I don't have 12 hours to dedicate.
Exactly.
But I have been experimenting a little bit with microdosing, both mushrooms and LSD. And I got to say, that's an interesting thing. Like microdosing mushrooms is because especially now, because they've got, the chocolate bars out and stuff, and you take a block of a chocolate bar and it's like an eighth of a regular dose, and you don't really get high, but you just kind of feel a little different throughout the day.
Sure. The closest thing I do to that is the CBD Sometimes I'll take that, helps me sleep, and it's kind of like you don't get the THC effect, which is
That's right.
too
Yeah,
much.
Allison's.
You just kind of calms you down and calms your nerves. I think it has an interesting effect, the CBD, which now you can get in your liquor store, which is
I know. Things have changed.
yeah.
How has your Eastern philosophies and Eastern teachings, how have they crossed over in what you've done musically throughout your life?
Oh, well, the album that I did in 2017, I basically describe it as Buddhist folk rock or Buddhist Nufi folk rock. So all the lyrics are kind of contemplative. They're sort of thinking about what's going on inside, what's your deeper nature, how do you engage in the world in a way that's positive, how do you deal with conflict, but from that point of view of Eastern philosophy. So if you ever looked at my Bandcamp album and read the lyrics, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is Nufi Buddhist folk rock. Okay.
So it's on Bandcamp, right?
Yeah, it's on Bandcamp.
What's it called?
Well, it's Mike Monroe and the Hired Guns.
Okay.
And the name of the tune is Hologram Guitar.
Okay.
I mean, the name of the album is Hologram Guitar on Bandcamp.
Okay. And where'd you come up with that name?
Well, Hologram Guitar actually comes from a Buddhist poem that my Buddhist teacher wrote. I have a teacher that I still study with, not so much like actively lately, but I still am a student. And over the years, he's written a lot of poems. And in one of his poems, he mentions a hologram guitar. So I just kind of pinged off that, and I use the term hologram guitar in one of the tunes on there, and I thought it was kind of a neat image or idea for the name of the record. So that's what I called it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Mike, thanks for coming on the show. Is there anything like anybody out there who's looking for guidance with their pain relief or their journey in pain or journey in getting away from pain? They can reach out to you through Taz. Well, no, Taz Yoga is for teachers, right?
Yeah, no, the site tazyoga.ca has my physio booking page.
Okay.
Tazyoga.ca has all the yoga courses. There's actually a free introduction to the training people can do, and you can also book with me online for virtual or in-person appointments through tazyoga.ca.
And how do you find doing this stuff virtually?
I think it's great. Like I can see someone who's down in the valley 2 or 3 hours away, and they can get a lot of benefit out of it. And I can record the session and send them a video of a yoga sequence, and they get just as much out of it, I think, as doing in person. In person, sometimes you can do some manual techniques. Like I do yoga massage,
right?
Where you get someone in a yoga pose and stretch them out, and they can relax, and you kind of help do the pose for them and help them relax that way. It's called pranasage.
Mm-hmm.
Just to show someone a technique, or sometimes there's like something's out of alignment. As a therapist, you can do adjustments to help realign the body. That you have to do hands-on, but really most of the time you're not using that, and folks just need to learn how to exercise it in a way that meets their needs, whatever it is, right? So you can do that from a video and just with some good instructions. So there's a bunch of people I'm training with now, like in the teacher training, from all over Nova Scotia that wouldn't be able to get to Halifax.
Mm-hmm.
So, it has certainly its role in breaking down those barriers of distance. And so virtual is pretty powerful, I think, that way.
Yeah. And simply the act of, the act of being guided through, like I know that with meditations and stuff, I can't sit and meditate on my own. I can't just sit and sort of, hold my hands and meditate for 20 minutes. But if you give me a good guided meditation or a body scan, to listen to, I can follow through and get a better result out of it. And I'm sure that's the same thing with yoga. If you can see them and they can see you, you can sort of, even though you're not hands-on, just the act of having a guide,
Well, yeah, a lot of it's through the speech and the way you describe things, and your presence and the space you create, and how you demonstrate things. You can get so much across in video.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Mike, it's been great catching up and great chatting. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and it's nice to get another perception on some of the stories from way back, because we are going back over 35 years now.
Yeah, but they were formative experiences. Like I'll never forget some of those things. I still think about them.
Oh, they really were, and the stuff like when me and you played with Mike Wade,
Oh yeah.
Mike Wade, who lived upstairs from me, he said, I need a band to come in and do a bunch of recording. And I called you, and I think it was his son, Mike Wade Jr., who played drums, was it?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. And we did some kind of show in Pippi Park with him. And like my
we did-
guitar wasn't working, so I had to use his guitar, and the strings were all rusty, and I was like, I could barely play it.
Yeah,
But we
it
pulled it
was.
off.
That was a family folk show at Pippi Park,
Yeah, we
and
just did a little show with him.
yeah, and Mike Wade came out and introduced us as he came out and walked to the mic, and there's like all these families out there, and he says, "I'm Mike Wade, and this is the fucking cunts." I was just like, "Oh my god!" And then there was issues with the show, but we had a great time playing. And those Mike Wade songs, I mean, that recording we did, he grabbed the tape back for me months after we did it, and he destroyed it, so I don't have a copy, but. What a great time that was. There was so many cool things going on back then. I mean,
Yeah, no, and I've been checking out Whiskey Wednesday shows, and you're talking about St. John's at the time in the art scene, and we don't realize how good we had it, back then. The people who were around, the characters, and the kinds of shows that we were involved in or taken in, and the whole scene at the LSPU Hall, you could hang out and chat with Kathy Jones and all those people when they were just early in their careers, and
we were all working together. It didn't matter if you were 40 or 18.
it was quite a special
together.
time, and I'm glad I got a chance, at least for one summer, to really be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it was that summer between high school and university when we were going hard and doing all that stuff. There was a lot going on. I'd moved out. I was living with Paula.
Yeah.
You were still with your folks. We had a jam space in your basement. We had a big party there one night, and somebody came after and stole.
That's right. I was remembering like Wally and his friends stole a bunch of our equipment.
Wally and a bunch of friends came
to go
in
back
and loaded it all up.
And we tracked him down the next day at his house, and he was in his house coat, and he brought out all the gear and back to it.
I don't know what he was thinking, but either way, yeah, there was lots of great fun back then. It was a really fun time.
Oh yeah. One more thing, like we set up once in the backyard, and the cops showed up because the neighbors called the cops on us.
Yeah. Oh, we were definitely being little shitheads.
That was quite a summer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Monroe coming to you from Halifax today and sharing some of his life with us. Thank you very much, Mike, for coming out and being on the show. And thanks for being, thanks for tuning in regularly and getting to know the Clubhouse folks and being a part of it.
Yeah, no, it's a part of my life, Whiskey Wednesdays, for sure.
It's a weird thing. It's just like a chance to escape on a Wednesday night and forget about the world and, listen to some people playing music and telling stories about whatever the hell we want to talk about, which is what this is. So it's just great.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Canada. I'm really enjoying your programs.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike Monroe here on the Whiskey Wednesday show. Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Every Wednesday we will be here, rain or shine, richer or poorer. Tip jar is in the link above. Never expected but always appreciated. Never confuse the size of your paycheck with the size of your talent. I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by midnight. Always appreciated, never expected. Please feel free to drop us a line regarding anything, including a link to your money. Cheers. And we're back, Barry says. I'm moving things around because during the video, you tend to stretch a little bit and hope my strings are in tune. I'm going to take a little look at those again there. Mike, what a treat it was sort of, chatting with you and talking about watching the video. It always amazes me watching it a couple days or a week later and actually taking it in from a different point of view. And it's such a cool thing to do to hang out with my friends from different parts of my life for a little bit here and there, and be able to do it in a way where it gets shared with this little community that we're part of here. I know the guys here in the room love it, absolutely love it. Don't you guys? You love it.
Totally.
Yeah. See, there we go. Everybody's laughing and having fun.
He's skateboarding.
Yeah, that's true. Tonight we've got 18 minutes of me skateboarding in a circle.
Oh, yay.
Oh my! I have been doing a fair bit of skateboarding. I've been out in the yard, out in the shed, having a great time. I've got an idea for something over the winter. Then I'm thinking of a new scheme that I might hatch. I won't get into what it is yet, but Tony Arkell, no, it isn't a gig with ZZ Top. But the beard is
uncommonly. It's getting to it's becoming its own thing. It's becoming its own thing. The weird thing is it's getting its own beard now under here. It's like a second beard growing, and it's like underneath this beard. It's like this beard's beard. And I'm wondering if it should be there. And I'm thinking I should probably go to see a specialist. What do you call it? A beard doctor. Let's see a beard doctor. And
Or we could throw it in the Trent River and see if we could catch some beaver.
I could probably catch a whole bunch of things. Mike, this song goes out to you too, and it goes out to all the people that we've lost along the way who aren't with us anymore. Every now and again, you get that feeling you just want to pick up the phone and call somebody. And you remember that they're no longer with you. There's a song called Already Gone. It goes just like this. For y'all. That's from the new record, The Dag Sessions, available in all your streaming platforms and on vinyl as well. And I think we've got some CD. I burned 100 CDs too, I think. I can't remember. Ask if you need something. It's really kind of that easy. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping all of the chat stuff is working tonight. It was a weird thing last week. And I'm actually not seeing any YouTube stuff here again, so I don't know. I'm going to have to... Oh, no, YouTube is going. Okay, we're good. We're good. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for hanging out and tuning in, getting to know my buddy Mike Monroe, listening to the band. We're going to start as of next week. We'll be starting to feature some early Christmas tunes that we'll be working on. Get your sleigh bells ready.
Yikes.
Aren't you excited, Neil?
I am thrilled to death.
I know you are.
And you'll be glad to know just before Christmas Day, the Wednesday before, we are going to do the entire Handel's Messiah.
We are. Yes. Brian Finley will be sitting in.
Yes.
No.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Oh, YouTube here. Yeah. Okay. We are all good. Christmas in Prison. Absolutely. We've got to get that one out. There's a bunch we've got to get to there. What you drinking? My daughter brought me some of these. She was home from Peterborough last night before. I can't remember. A couple days ago. She comes home to watch football on Sunday nights. Yeah. So today's Wednesday. A couple days ago. Anyway, she brought me a couple of these. They're nice. It's from Madrid, and it's exceptional, which I think is probably how a Madridian would say it. You agree?
No.
No. Okay. Why would you not agree, Neil?
Because I enjoy,
Isn't it just easier to agree?
Being obstreperous. That's why. Yeah.
Isn't it? Oh, hold on. I got a wrapper for that one. Bring it up for me there, Barry. Which camera am I looking at? I got a new wrapper. I need to know where I am. Okay, here we go. Neil's new Crooked as Sin wrapper. I've been holding this one for just this moment. Another moment from the Newfoundland Labrador Chocolate Factory. Actually, I think it's just the Newfoundland Chocolate Factory. Hold on, let me get it straight. People are very picky about that. Cheeky Chocolate. Now, who's Cheeky Chocolate? I thought these were all Newfoundland Chocolate Company. No, this is Cheeky Chocolate. But it is from Mount Pearl. Oh, it's Mount Pearl. Mount Pearl is Newfoundland. Yeah, I mean, it's all the same thing now. So it is from the same. So hold on, this is the... So I've also got the best kind, right? And the best kind is the Newfoundland Chocolate Company, right? Newfoundland Chocolate. So Cricket of Sin is a different one. This one was nice. This was the hazelnut milk chocolate. It was a really nice one. Anyway.
And then we have world's finest chocolate right here in Campbellford.
We do. And I think Cassidy was saying at one point she was like in some very secluded place in some part of the weird world, and there on the shelf was the world's most famous chocolate, the almonds, you know. Really? In the little box, world's finest, yeah. It's pretty wild. It's just down the road from us. We almost bought that little blue house directly across from it, but I couldn't deal with the. I was
Traffic.
there. Yeah,
Too much traffic.
Yeah, no, it was we were there at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon where there was just like this real strong smell of chocolate. And it was just too much for me. It was like, I love chocolate, but it's like, I can't deal with this every day of my life. It's like, this is insane. This is how to drive somebody crazy. Anyways, I guess if you live next to a Colonel Sanders, you get the same thing, right? Or Dixie Lee. Do you ever get Dixie Lee coming up your way? You get Dixie Lee, yeah. And Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Oh, what does Pizza Hut exhaust smell like?
I think you should sue for a lifetime subscription of Gravol.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
Pizza Hut, I'm curious, so what is this? It's just a oily smell? Really?
boiling and melting off.
At least Chicken Kingdom was always like, chicken.
Depends on the time of day. Usually the
True.
Pizza Hut cranks up at around 6 or 7. Dixie Lee is a little bit before that, or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of stink. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the show here. We've got tonight another tie-in with back home in Newfoundland is Marcel. Marcel is a street photographer who grew up with us back in the scene. Mike and Marcel would have known each other. And Marcel's done allowed us to use his photos for a few videos, and the collection of photos for the Mad World video are all Marcel's. So that's going to be the video rewind coming up in just a minute. But we got one more song for you. 9:14. Yeah, I was going to talk about killing mindfully, But I think I'm just going to leave that there and let you all go explore that. And you can figure that out on your own. Yeah, it's just a little Easter egg. Go find something. So if you choose to. But I'm having I'm having a good time with
So
that.
are we looking for a corpse?
Oh, you might be. We're gonna end with a song called "Barstools and Broken Hearts," and it goes. How's Mr. Grant doing?
I'm fine.
Gosh, you were right ready there. You were right ready. Everything good over on your side of the street?
Sure.
Yeah.
Things are great over there.
Things are great over there.
Yeah.
How's the weather been?
About the same as
About
here,
the
I'm
same.
sure. Froze up real good last night.
Yeah, I think it was -6, did you say?
Yeah, this morning was.
No more fishing? Well, we got all winter music. Music and indoor skateboarding. Woohoo!
You could build a ramp out of snow and then, freeze it.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
really good.
Yeah, ice would be really fun
I think it would.
to fall onto and
You could put, you could put, tires with, little picky things on your skateboards. Maybe.
you could.
Like they
You
do in
could make little spiky things, which when you fall on your board, yeah, it would be great. Actually,
fall on the top side, don't fall on
What
the
if you
wheels.
took the wheels right off?
Just use the board like a
What an incredible
like a
idea.
snowboard.
Why has no one ever thought of
I
that?
don't know. Shazam.
It's already on YouTube. People putting like skate blades down where the wheels should be, and
yeah.
skateboarding sort of on ice and stuff. It doesn't look like a fun thing to do, but it can be done, I guess.
I think I'd have to go and visit Mike for a try.
Yeah. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's a thing. Barstools and broken hearts, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Broken minds and broken bodies are coming home to find the life and love before the war turned cold and broke down over time. Broke family and broken love and tangled stories made up of the time you were away. A broken soldier's heart replays. Stop pretending there's a war outside. Don't pretend to be truth from days gone by. It's just barstools and broken hearts. Another night to fall apart. Puzzle pieces in your head. Another stranger in your bed. It's just barstools and broken hearts. Another day, another start. Face the truth and climb that hill. Another prayer unwinds. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill. Broke jobs and broken dreams. A little too old, it seems. The life you thought you'd have lives only as an illusion now, it seems. Broken hearts and broken wallets have put you in this place. The whiskey, drugs, and cigarettes are filling up that empty space. Stop pretending it's just the way things go. Don't pretend to be more than the lies that we all know. It's just barstools and broken hearts. Another night to fall apart. Puzzle pieces in your head. Another stranger in your bed. It's just barstools and broken hearts. Another day, another start. To face the truth and climb that hill. Another prayer unwinds. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill. Both promises and broken truth. The radio plays those songs from our youth. The bands that we all love. Broken words and broken people trying to get ahead. sympathy that lies beneath, for all intents gets left for dead. Stop pretending there's a war outside. Don't pretend to be more than the truth can hide. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another night to fall apart. Puzzle pieces in your head, another stranger in your bed. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another day, another start to face the truth and climb that hill. Another prayer unwinds. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill.
Oh, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it looks like we're at the end of another Whiskey Wednesday. I think I got all my notes taken care of, everything I needed to mention. I didn't go too crazy tonight off topic. We came in at a regular-ish time. I got to go turn the stove on now. We got some good munchies tonight coming out. I got to sit down with Matthew Holtby last night. He was here and played a couple tunes, and we had a great chat. So he's going to be on the show next week. So look forward to that. In the meantime, when you're out there, be cool and be, just be like Steve. There you go, be like Steve. We will talk to you before too long, and enjoy Mad World by Marcel, and we'll see you all before too long. Cheers. Once again, thanks for spending another Wednesday with us here at Storyhouse Studios. Thanks to Trainer, Yorkville, and a Longtooth Beverage Company for being a part of the show. We love our time on the Whiskey Wednesday show and appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to hit up the tip jar if you feel so inclined. Never expected, but always appreciated. Tune in every week for more guests, songs, stories, drinks, and gear talk. And don't forget to visit the website, www.kentizzard.com, to sign up for the Whiskey Wednesday wrap-up. Compiled by Allison, this is a monthly overview with highlights, directories of songs, and so much more. Be kind, be helpful, be happy, be safe. See you next week.
On a Jim Beam cannon.